What's up YouTube, it's Big Fish here with another reaction video. Today we're here with MSNBC and they're in New York, New Jersey because as usual, they're protesting at an ICE facility. For what? We don't know, but they're gonna keep blowing their lids about this. Let's hear about it.
Right now, protests are underway outside a private ICE detention center in New Jersey, and inside about 300 people are reportedly on a hunger strike over what they say are poor conditions, including rotten food and inadequate medical care. Clashes have erupted between protesters and ICE agents over the past few days. You can see one person here being dragged.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say if that was true. Should that be happening? No. But could it possibly be happening? Yes. Is there worse conditions all over the world? Hell yes. So please, miss me with the tears. These people ain't supposed to be here, so what we gotta do? Get them in cells, get a plane, and get them out of America. It is what it is.
By their arms across the pavement. There it is. Nope, that's not it. And yesterday, Democratic Senator Andy Kim says he was pepper sprayed. Now, DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin is calling the protests a, quote, political stunt by New Jersey.
So pretty much he got treated like a regular civilian. Too bad.
The sanctuary politicians for fundraising clicks and denying reports there even is a hunger strike inside. MS Now's Mark Santia is outside the facility in Newark. I also want to bring in former HUD Secretary and 2020 presidential candidate Julian Castro, and staff writer at The Atlantic, Ashley Parker. Both are MS Now political analysts. So, Mark, what are you hearing on the ground there?
Well, Chris, we have seen tensions flare up here a short time ago. Take a live look behind me. You can see protesters as well as ICE officers. We did see protesters shoved to the ground by ICE officers. We also saw an ICE officer injured and taken away limping from the scrum. We have not seen any arrests. Tempers have since cooled. About 24 protesters are standing together today outside Delaney Hall, telling MS Now there is no place they would rather be today.
Why is it so important for you to be here?
Because I feel what we are doing in this country is so unjust and inhumane. We are ripping apart families. We're causing tremendous hardship. And we all have a duty to speak up and not be complicit in this very, very cruel system.
Old people, Karens, and soy boys. That's all that's out there. And grifters. What do you mean they're being ripped apart? If I got a DUI, my third DUI, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get stripped away from my family, most likely, and get put in jail. If I commit murder, say I shot up a grocery store and I killed people, guess what? I'm going to get ripped away from my family. What do we... Yeah. This sympathy, the voting sympathy, just trying to vote off your feelings, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. We have to use common sense. I ain't seen none of this bad, crazy stuff when Obama was putting people in cages. No problem at all.
There are reports of a hunger strike inside by some detainees against what they allege are inhumane conditions. DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin saying, quote, there's no hunger strike at Delaney Hall. There are no subprime conditions. Now, a public records review from our investigative unit, Chris, has found ICE's own internal watchdog had previously flagged issues during an inspection here at Delaney Hall last year. The inspectors flagged 12 detention standard issues, including some in food service, and recommended the agency work with the facility to resolve them. We are reaching out to ICE to see what changes were made, what the results were from this inspection last year. Chris?
Thanks so much for that. So Democratic Congressman Rob Menendez was able to actually get inside the facility and just spoke to my colleague Ana Cabrera about who he met. Take a listen.
Every time that we're here, we use it as an opportunity to talk with the individuals who are being held here because it's important to tell their stories. Like an 18-year-old from New Jersey who's missing her high school graduation because she's inside the Delaney Hall. She's missing her brother's 8th birthday this week because she's inside Delaney Hall. women who are pregnant, who are inside Delaney Hall, women who had just given birth months before they were apprehended by ICE, who aren't able to nurse their newborn children because they are inside Delaney Hall.
So,
And there it is again. They want you to vote off of sympathy. No, we can't do that. You didn't give us any qualifications, whether they're illegal or they're American born. You didn't say nothing. You just said these are stories. We can't care about that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. There's women who give birth in prison. Like, I'm sorry. The sympathy is gone. You have to be logical in this world because people will just feed off of you. Feed off of you.
he got in
Until
on
they
this,
use you
Mr.
up.
Secretary, but this is not the first time or first place we've heard these kinds of stories. Some of them from inside have been harrowing by people who actually witnessed it. Are Democrats powerless to do anything? Is the best that they can do is what we heard from that one protester who said she felt she had to show up?
No, I wouldn't say the Democrats are powerless. I mean, they're doing one thing that's important now, which is shining a light on the abuses, on the failures of this system.
I know we're not talking about abuses and failure. I know we just wasn't in Minnesota where all that money was going to who? Okay, please stop telling me about failures. Well, now we're up in California, and what's the same thing happened with hospices? Please don't tell me about abuse and failure. I don't want to hear it.
This Delaney Hall is a private detention facility that is owned by the Geo Group, of course, a huge corporation that has had many kinds of similar complaints launched against it over the years. The other thing Democrats have done, of course, is in the budget process to refuse to support new funding for ICE until matters like this are addressed sufficiently. So there's a lot that they can do to push back and to continue to shine a light on this. The other part I would just invite viewers to think about here is you have hundreds and hundreds of people in this facility, and these are people who are coming oftentimes from desperate circumstances. They've lived hard lives.
So they're illegal. He just said it without saying it. So they're illegal. Okay? Send their ass back.
Lived under threat, lived in violent areas. Some of them have dealt with intense poverty. Many of them just want to get back with their family, and they're worried that if they rock the boat in any way, that basically they're going to get deported. And even then, the circumstances in this place are so bad that 300 of them have chosen to go on a hunger strike and to take this action that I bet they know makes it more likely that they're going to end up separated from their families because they get deported. That shows you, I think, how bad the circumstances are in Delaney Hall.
Actually, we haven't seen the major clashes like we saw in Minnesota, but we know the White House has actively taken steps to carry out immigration efforts more quietly. Can Democrats, and I guess maybe should Democrats, get immigration back in the public eye the way they did back then, or strategically, is their time better spent on the economy? I wonder what you're hearing.
A couple of things. I mean, those clashes in
It's really a losing battle for the Democrats because you have your far left and their agendas, trans, making sure LGBTQ plus is secure, Palestine, Israel, any major war that comes, and they think they got to fight for it. And then you have your Democrats in the middle who care about the economy. Well, all three of them have something in common. They want to get rid of Trump. But in the middle class, they care about the economy a little bit more, making sure that they have their freedom of speech, abortions, but they can do freedom of speech and kill their babies. And then you have I say you're moderate in the middle of the road who's still conflicted and don't know which side to turn to because you have your too far left who's going crazy and will crucify you for anything you say if it's not correct to them. And then the right, because it's Donald Trump, and if you're associated with him, then you're seen as a fascist, evil man, woman, or pick me if you're a woman. So the Democrats are just they're eating each other alive, quite honestly. And Republicans, oh yeah, we have our problems, definitely. But the Democrats' problems are just 10 times worse.
Minnesota and those two Minnesota killings were a negative, and understandably so,
They're still talking about those two idiots that put themselves in danger.
Turning point for the Trump administration, where one of his signature issues, immigration and border control, went too far, and the vast majority of Americans agreed it went too far. So it did show that there
No,
is a line that this
we were
president
still backing
can
them.
cross when it comes to immigration, because early on there was a sort of gleeful sense from the White House that images of, if they could portray them as unruly protesters, going up against ICE and law enforcement, they originally thought that was beneficial to them, and that was not the case. Now, to specifically answer your question, Democrats who I've talked to and Republicans who are worried about this say the most salient issue is, as it ever was, the economy. But immigration is tricky for the Democrats because there is a sense most voters, including Democratic voters, want some sort of border enforcement. That is popular, whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, but they don't necessarily want it to go as far as this administration is going. They don't want.
That's a contradiction to what you're saying. You're saying that Democrats also want to enforce the border, but it can't go to an extent where they're bringing people to facilities, I'm assuming, is what they're saying. I guess they don't want ICE. We know they don't want ICE, but from a Democrat standpoint, I guess they don't want ICE in their cities to enforce it. So who's going to enforce it? Because your mayors are making the police enforce it because they need them to vote. Like I said, the Democrats are in a sticky situation, and I am very interested to see how all of this, the voting is going to go for the House, the Senate, and all of this stuff. It's very interesting and all. And definitely with the gerrymandering that happened, 2 weeks ago? Maybe not even then. That's been a wild process as well. So it's very interesting right now. Go down to the comment section. Tell me how you felt about the video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you. Peace.